You know when you're having a good day and then that one thing happens? That jerk cuts you off in traffic. You get into an argument with a stranger on the internet, or you take a sip of coffee only to realize that the barista used regular milk in your latte when you clearly ordered almond milk. Whatever it is, it completely ruins your day. The world is seemingly full of these tiny, infuriating things that lay in waiting, like ninjas. Things that want to raise your blood pressure and make your blood boil. To some people, these things are but minor inconveniences. But if you have trouble managing your anger, these little things can get under your skin and cause you to fly off the handle faster than the speed of light. Hello, and welcome to MedTouch, the best place to find the right medical information. Let's get one thing straight. Getting angry is normal. We all experience it from time to time. It's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, anger is a helpful emotion to have. It can make you stronger, faster, and decrease your perception of pain. It can also motivate you to make important changes in your life, to stand up for yourself, and to fight for your rights. Anger only becomes problematic when it gets out of hand and spirals into harmful or destructive behaviours, known as aggression. When this occurs, it can take a serious toll on both your health and your relationships. Uncontrolled anger can increase your risk of hypertension, stroke, heart disease, gastric ulcers, and bowel disease, and it can push people away and destroy important relationships in your life. Because let's be real, no one wants to walk on eggshells when they're around you. It's important to remember, however, that anger isn't a bad emotion. It's just an emotion. The goal isn't to get rid of it completely or prevent yourself from ever experiencing it. Rather, you just need to learn how to manage it more effectively so it doesn't turn into aggression and interfere with your life. Fortunately, with practice, there are many techniques you can use to help you get better at catching your anger before it takes over. That's why, in today's video, we're going to share 8 anger management tips that you can use to control your anger and live a healthier and happier life. Tip number 1. Identify your triggers. Your anger is like an explosion waiting to happen. If managed correctly, you can end up with a beautiful display of fireworks. However, if you let it get out of hand, you can end up causing devastating damage and destruction. In order to prevent your anger from becoming destructive, you first need to be able to identify and recognize the circumstances or events that are fueling your anger in the first place. These are known as your anger triggers. Take a look at your regular routine and try to identify activities, times of day, people, places, or situations that trigger your anger. For example, does the traffic on your daily commute drive you crazy? Do you feel infuriated when someone cuts in front of you at the supermarket checkout line? Does your blood boil when your call gets disconnected after you've been waiting on hold for 45 minutes? Once you've identified your triggers, try to come up with some possible ways you could avoid or change your perspective of them so they don't make your temper flare. For example, if your child's messy room drives you up the wall, try closing their door. Or if your daily commute to work leaves you in a state of frustration, find another alternative, such as taking the bus or train. Becoming familiar with the things that regularly trigger your anger can help you to feel more in control of your environment, avoid unnecessary aggravation, and learn new ways to express your anger more constructively. Tip number 2. Learn your anger warning signs. When you experience an anger-provoking event, your brain often interprets this as a sign that you're in danger, even when you're not. As a result, in order to protect you and keep you safe, it sends signals to your body, preparing it to either fight, freeze, or run for your life. These signals often appear as physical sensations such as rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, sweating, shaking, headaches, or a clenched jaw or fist. They may also appear as behaviours such as pacing back and forth, slamming doors, or raising your voice. Your body uses these anger warning signs to let you know that your alarm system has been switched on, and that if you don't take action, your anger will continue to escalate into dangerous territory. Everyone has their own anger warning signs. Becoming aware of your own personal signs that your temper is starting to boil allows you to take steps to manage your anger before it gets out of control. Try to think back to a time when you were angry. How did you feel? The next time you notice these physical manifestations, pay attention to the feeling and describe it in your mind. Simply being aware that your pulse is racing or your face is flushing can help you to recognize that you've become angry and that you need to stop, slow down, and intervene before your anger grows out of control. Tip number 3. Practice relaxation techniques. Once you're aware of your body's anger warning signs, one of the best ways to calm yourself down and prevent your anger from escalating any further is to practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing and muscle relaxation exercises. When practiced regularly, these techniques provide both immediate and long-term relief from stress, anxiety, and anger by activating a part of your brain known as the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for helping your body achieve a state of rest and relaxation. Here's a quick deep breathing exercise you can try whenever you feel yourself becoming angry. If you're standing, find a place to sit down and make yourself comfortable. Start by closing your eyes. Then, take a moment to scan your body. Try to identify one particular sensation that reminds you that you're angry. Focus your attention on that sensation. It could be that your palms are sweaty, your cheeks feel hot, your heart is racing, or there's tears in your eyes. Whatever sensation it might be, acknowledge it. Then take a deep breath in and switch your attention to your breathing. Notice how your lungs and chest expand each time you inhale. Now slowly inhale for 4 seconds. And then exhale slowly. Again, take a deep breath in. Fill your lungs and chest. Hold it for a few seconds. And release. Continue breathing deeply for another couple of minutes. With each inhalation and exhalation, feel your body becoming more and more relaxed. Use your breathing to wash away any remaining tension, frustration, or agitation. You can practice this at home, at work, on the bus, before a meeting, or while waiting in line at the supermarket. The key to making deep breathing an effective relaxation technique is to practice it frequently and in a variety of situations. If you have a smartwatch, you can set up mindful breathing reminders to encourage yourself to set aside a few minutes each day to relax and focus on your breathing. In addition to deep breathing, another way to calm yourself down when you're feeling angry is to practice muscle relaxation exercises. This technique is especially helpful since anger frequently causes muscle tension, especially around the neck and shoulders, which continues to linger even after your anger has subsided. To practice progressive muscle relaxation, slowly and gently tense and relax each muscle group in your body for a count of 10, one at a time. You may wish to start from the top of your head and make your way down to your toes, or vice versa. Like deep breathing, muscle relaxation exercises should be practiced regularly in order to experience the best results. As you practice these techniques, try to remind yourself that you're calming down and that soon your anger is going to subside and you're going to feel much more in control of your emotions. You can also use this as a chance to better understand what's making you upset and to come up with some constructive ways to deal with the problem at hand. Tip number 4. Take a time out. When you're angry, it can be easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment and end up doing something or saying something that you later regret. This is due to a process known as emotional hijacking. When your fight or flight response is activated, your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, shuts down the part of your brain responsible for rational decision making. This is why, when you get angry, it can be really hard to think clearly and behave sensibly. An effective way to overcome this and regain your sense of control is to stop what you're doing and take a time out. A timeout simply involves making a conscious decision to shift your focus away from the anger-provoking event so you can calm down and begin to think rationally again. For example, say you received an aggressive email from your boss. Instead of immediately sending off a tense reply that will likely only make things worse, stand up, walk away from your desk for a few minutes, grab a glass of water, and then return to your email once you've calmed down. If other people are involved, for instance, if you're having an argument with your partner, you can use a timeout to disengage from the conversation when you feel yourself becoming too angry. Keep in mind, it's important to be explicit about taking a timeout so the other person involved doesn't feel like you're blowing them off or ignoring them. Also, it is important to be explicit with yourself as well. For example, how long does it take you to gain control over your hijacked brain when you're angry? Is it 5 minutes? 2 hours? Or do you need to sleep on it? When you do consciously decide to take time out, try setting a timer on your phone or smartwatch and set yourself a limit of up to a week. While it's good to work through your anger at your own pace, you don't want to spend your whole life with a hijacked, angry brain. During your time out, try to calm yourself down by taking a short walk, practicing deep breathing, listening to some music, or taking a mental vacation by visualizing yourself in a relaxing environment. It's also helpful to try to understand why you're feeling angry, as well as ways to constructively deal with whatever triggered your anger. Being able to pause, take a deep breath, and then decide how to respond, rather than impulsively reacting to the situation, can help you to prevent your anger from clouding your judgment and having a negative impact on your words and behaviors. Tip number 5. Change your thoughts. When you're angry, your thoughts often become illogical, exaggerated, and blown out of proportion. For example, you may tend to catastrophize and jump to conclusions such as, "Why am I such a shit magnet?" or "Life's not fair." Or perhaps whenever something goes wrong, it's always someone else's fault. In order to effectively manage your anger and prevent it from spiraling out of control, you need to be able to identify these unhelpful thoughts and beliefs and replace them with more rational or realistic perspectives. For instance, let's say you're working on a project with your colleague and they don't finish the part they were assigned to in time, causing the project to run behind schedule and risking your chance of grabbing that bonus that you were financially dependent on. Instead of getting angry and telling yourself, "People are so careless and all my hard work is wasted," you could instead tell yourself, "This really sucks, but hey, let's see if we can come up with a solution and still meet the deadline." It's also helpful to avoid using words like never or always when talking about yourself or someone else. For example, saying things like, "I never get the respect I deserve," or "You're always forgetting things," are not only inaccurate, but they also reinforce an unhelpful belief that your problems are so catastrophic that they simply can't be resolved. They also alienate and push people away who might otherwise be willing to help you come up with a solution. So the next time you feel yourself becoming angry, take a moment to identify the types of thoughts and beliefs that are racing through your mind. Once you've identified them, write them down on a piece of paper and try to come up with ways to dispute them. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have that my thought is true? Is my thought unrealistic or irrational? If so, what may be an alternative and more realistic way of looking at this situation? By disputing your unhelpful thoughts and beliefs, you can take a more rational and balanced approach, which can help you control your anger and hit the brakes before it gets out of hand. Tip number 6. Identify the consequences. When you feel insulted, betrayed, hurt, or disrespected, it's natural to feel angry. The urge to turn into Godzilla and destroy everything in your path can be particularly strong, especially when you experience injustice. In rare instances, a powerful aggressive response can be a lifesaver. In your day-to-day interactions, however, these aggressive actions can get you into trouble and result in a range of serious consequences. For example, physical aggression can result in harm to yourself or to others, property damage, or getting arrested and potentially going to jail. Even passive-aggressive responses such as verbal abuse or intimidating or threatening others can result in negative repercussions. For example, you could lose your job, damage a relationship, or push people away from you. It's important to remember, however, that although anger can sometimes lead to aggression and violence, they're not the same thing. Anger is a feeling, whereas aggression is a behavior that's carried out with the intention of causing harm. You can't prevent or unlearn anger. However, you can unlearn and prevent aggression. To do so, you need to be aware when your anger is reaching an extreme level so you have a chance to intervene before it's too late. A simple way to do this is to use what's called an anger meter. When you feel yourself becoming angry, take a moment to rate how angry you feel on a scale from 0, no anger, to 10, extreme anger. If you notice that your anger is particularly high, stop what you're doing, take a step back, and think about all the possible consequences that could occur if you allow your anger to explode into an act of aggression or violence. Sure, rolling down your window and verbally abusing the person who just cut you off may feel like the right thing to do in the moment. But is it really necessary? What if they cut you off because there was an emergency they were responding to? Or what if they end up pulling over and you get into a physical altercation? Remember, you can't always change the things that make you angry, but you can change the way you respond. Tip number 7. Express your anger in a healthy way. In order to turn your anger into a beautiful display of fireworks, you need to find ways to express it in constructive rather than destructive ways. Luckily, there are many ways you can do this. For example, you can take your angry energy and pour it into a new creative passion such as writing, painting, or drawing. Or, if injustice makes you angry, be the change you wish to see in the world by volunteering for a good cause or a charity that you're passionate about. You could also try some fun new anger-relieving exercises such as kickboxing, hot yoga, dancing, tai chi, or karate. Exercise is a great way to relieve stress, lower your blood pressure, and boost your overall mood. If your anger stems from an interpersonal conflict with someone else, you could try expressing how you feel in an assertive, non-confrontational way. Being assertive involves stating your concerns and needs clearly and directly, without criticizing, placing blame, or increasing tension. For example, you could say, "I'm upset that you didn't clean the dishes when you said you were going to," instead of, "You never do any housework." By acting assertively, you can express your feelings, thoughts, and beliefs to the person who is unfair to you without making the situation worse or causing your anger to spiral into harmful or destructive behaviors. Or you can simply let go of your anger and harness the power of forgiveness. Learning to forgive others can be a powerful tool for diffusing your anger. Holding on to your anger doesn't actually hurt the other person nearly as much as it hurts you to hold on to it. As the saying goes, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Remember, forgiveness doesn't mean that you approve of what the other person did. In fact, forgiveness is a way that you can acknowledge, to yourself as much as anyone else, how you've been hurt by the other person, while still being able to move on from the experience and walk away from it without lashing out or seeking revenge. Tip number 8. Seek help. No matter how hard you try, it's impossible to never get angry about anything. Some degree of anger will always exist in your life. Remember, anger is a normal, healthy emotion when it's mild, infrequent, dissipates quickly, and is expressed assertively and constructively. However, if your anger is intense, experienced frequently, and is often expressed in an aggressive or violent manner, then you may benefit from reaching out to your doctor or a mental health professional for help. Many people believe that seeking help for anger means learning how to get rid of your anger completely. However, that's not true. The true goal of anger management is to understand the message behind your emotion and find ways to express it in a healthy, constructive way without losing control. When you do, you'll not only feel better, but you'll also be able to manage conflict, communicate more effectively, and strengthen the important relationships in your life. So, if you feel like you need more help, or if you're struggling to stop your anger from taking over your life, pick up the phone and call your doctor. You don't have to suffer alone. Help is always available. So there you have it, 8 tips to take control of your anger and live a happier, healthier life. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, leave us a comment, and turn on that notification bell so we can stay in touch.